think of a telecommunications company rooting for the common man's mental health?
Well, I actually wish you'd never told me about it, because I'd never heard of it till you mentioned it one day. But and of course, maybe you don't realize it, but you put me in a difficult position, because it would be very easy to misunderstand me and to think that I'm against helping people, that I'm against a public encouragement for people to go and get the help that they need. And of course, I'm a bit of a cynic, and you've got to allow for that too. I'm a cynic in the sense that my first thought when I hear it is, well, you know, this is public relations for Bell. And somebody on the team that invented this campaign perhaps has a good heart. Maybe everybody on the team has a good heart. But we also have to remember that for them, this is good public relations. Now, to tell you the truth, am dead against campaigns like this. I just don't like this idea of encouraging people to go and see psychiatrists. I understand, you know, I used to be a child psychiatrist for many years. I understand that for some children, they have to wait 2 years before they can get an appointment with a psychiatrist. I'm not a bit surprised. But that's not the problem. The problem for me is that, you know, if I have a tough time about something, if I'm very nervous or I can't sleep or I get depressed, I'm not the depressive type, so that's not a good example for me, but I am the nervous type. But if I'm having a really tough time with my family or with myself or for no known reason, what would I do? I wouldn't call a psychiatrist and make an appointment. I certainly wouldn't. I'd phone my friend, Herb Schlesinger, in New York City. Now, he is a psychologist and a psychoanalyst. He's actually kind of famous. But he was my teacher. Now he's my friend. And I'd say to him on the phone, Herb, listen, I'm having troubles. How about me coming down to New York? We'll have dinner. We can do a little talking. Give me a new angle on what's going on with me. So I would consult a friend. I don't think I'm consulting him because he's an important psychoanalyst in New York City or an important psychologist, whatever he is, or because he's written some important books. It's because he's my friend. And you know, if my child comes to me and says he or she is having some trouble, I don't say, well, I'll find somebody for you to talk to. I'll say to him, well, tell me what's going on. What's the trouble? It seems to me that the first place you turn when you're having trouble in your life is either to good friends, sensible friends, and family. And if you read the newspapers, and I'm sure you do, everybody reads the newspapers, these days there are endless pious arguments that everybody's supposed to go and see a psychiatrist. Are you depressed? Well, as I said, I'm not the depressive type, but lots of people are depressed. I'm not even sure that depression is as bad a thing as some people make out. I have a sneaking suspicion. I'm very interested in depression. I like seeing depressed patients in my office, partly because they tend to be intelligent and thoughtful people. And you know, if you think about that for a minute, if you're thoughtful about depression, you realize that almost anyone might be depressed because there are many bad things in life. You don't even have to just look at your own life. You can read the newspapers. You can see how difficult life is, financially, socially, politically, whatever it is. And the fact that I'm not the type of person who gets depressed may not be a good reflection on me. It may be me pretending that everything's hunky-dory. And I was in therapy, I was in analysis. Maybe my analyst didn't give me enough of a hard time about that, the fact that I want to see the positive side of everything. But anyway, so this campaign, I don't think Bell is doing anything outrageous. They're doing what everybody else is doing. They're catching on to a current fashion. Yes, and I mean that word, fashion. The fashion is to go and see a psychiatrist. I don't like the idea of pathologizing everyday life. And I don't like the idea that we don't take care of our own, that parents are encouraged to send their children to a psychiatrist. Their parents know their child better than any psychiatrist would. It takes a psychiatrist quite a while to get to know somebody.